Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Thursday, October 17th. Back to black. Riding on the tailwinds of solid earnings, all three major indices shrugged off Tuesday's sell-off to close in the green yesterday. The Dow hit another record close, adding 337 points, or more than 0.347%. The S&P 500 gained 27 points, or nearly 0.5%. The Nasdaq gained 51 points, or just more than 0.7%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are positive. We're up 0.43%, more than 0.4% heading into the day. Yeah, that's a pretty good thing. It's a pretty good start to the day. So we're seeing a strong start, and that should continue on today. What's moving in this market? TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. They released earnings last night. They created a very bullish sentiment for the sector. So you're seeing the market really start to gain some traction this morning. Based on the belief that AI trade is still going strong. Now, after the bell today, we get Netflix scheduled to report. The feeling with Netflix is, hey, they did that price increase. That should be really good for the EPS, but you got to worry about guidance. Guidance is the key here. I don't like the put volumes here. I mean, the put volumes were elevated yesterday, so I'm a little cautious on Netflix. Won't be touching. What else do I see? Expedia, shares of Expedia are trading higher. Uber is said to be considering a takeover. This would be Uber's biggest takeover to date. So yeah, that is possible. Keep an eye on shares of Expedia today. What else do we have? Another big one item today was the China economic briefing. Now, China came. It was very. There's a lot of excitement going into it, but they didn't really provide any new supportive policies for the property sector in their economic briefing this morning, and that kind of disappointed markets. So they didn't go over too well. But today we do have an ECB rate decision. A 25 basis point rate cut is expected to occur when they give that out at 8:15 a.m. this morning. Christine Lagarde, the ECB president, she's going to stick to her theme of being data dependent when discussing possible future rate cuts. But, their economy is weakening, inflation is ebbing. So, yeah, I could see more rate cuts in the future for the ECB. So let's just, kind of hold on and wait to see what happens next there. But that rate decision is due out today. Let's take a look at what's going on in Europe. We're showing gains in Europe, which is nice. We got the DAX up 114 points, or 0.59%. There was some positive corporate earnings announcement that's really benefiting them. And so that index, FTSE's up, about 28 points, or 0.33%. The thing about the FTSE is they're also anticipating a rate cut from the Bank of England, because the Bank of England meets November 7th. So let's keep an eye on that date. The CAC in Paris, it's up 1.12%. We're seeing some, nice strong gains in luxury stocks and autos this morning. That's kind of positive for the CAC. And then we're taking a look over at, Asia. Asia was red. Asia was not positive last night. We got the Nikkei dropping 269 points, or 0.69%. They had those trade balance for September data showing a deficit, reflecting challenges in their export sector. Yeah, not real positive for the Nikkei. And then there was Hong Kong. Hong Kong was up higher. They were, the market was higher. They were anticipating that stimulus briefing from China. Then they wind up finishing down 1.02%, over 1%, because of the lack of any meat in terms of that economic briefing. Shanghai and China, they also finished lower by 1.05%. And the property sector really did lead the losses in China overnight. Now we're keeping an eye on oil. Oil remains flat. It's just flat right now. But we did get those API stockpile results, which did show that stockpile, their estimates showing stockpiles fell 1.58 million barrels last week. But this morning we're going to get the EIA data, which is the officials. Estimates are indicating a 1.7 million barrel build in inventory. So That would be negative. But oil prices, were higher, moved lower. Now they're unchanged. So let's keep an eye on oil today. It's still going to be worth trading because there's still going to be volatility in oil in the days and weeks to come. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update, Emily.
Bill, in your morning market update, you've really hit a number of key areas. You mentioned earnings, you mentioned possible merger news, you mentioned what's going on overseas, China's economic briefing, the ECB rate decision today. You also mentioned economic reports, oil. We're really covering all of these areas, not only today, but today, day in and day out, using our NewsWare, breaking it down into these alerts so you're grabbing all of this information quickly. And if all those details aren't enough, there's still more details on the day you're keeping track of, Bill. And we're going to start here with earnings action. You did give us a preview of some of the main headlines, but let's dive in. What is going on in terms of earnings action?
Got to start off with Taiwan Semiconductor because that's the big one this morning. They beat by 14 cents and they delivered that on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning; it's up 9.83%, really creating a boost for everyone in that sector. Equifax, ticker EFX, they beat by 2 cents, but they only met on revenue expectations, and they got a dark cloud over them ever since their hacking incident. But look at the stock this morning; it's down 4%. Alcoa, ticker AA, Apple, they beat by 29 cents. They did it on lower revenue, but you look at Alcoa this morning, and it is trading higher by 3.4%. You got to like that mining sector. Discover Financial, ticker DFS, they beat by 27 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. DFS is trading off by a little bit more than 2% this morning. Upcoming after the bell today, we have Netflix, ticker NFLX. Their EPS is $5.07 with an expected move of 7.67%. Alaska Air, interesting. EPS is $2.20. Expected move is 3.58% when they release after the bell today. And that's what I have for you in terms of earnings, Emily.
Now, when it comes to economic events today, we did hear, a couple of reports that we should be keeping an eye on, including the ECB announcement. I'm looking at the notes here, Bill. I'm stalling so you can take a deep breath. A host of economic data to be watching this morning. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of economic events?
Well, obviously the ECB is the big one that's coming out at 8:15, and that's going to cause some volatility in the markets when they're likely to release a 25 basis point rate cut. But then we have other reports coming out as well. Like at 8:30 a.m., we get the retail sales report, we get the jobless claims report, we get the Philadelphia Fed manufacturing index. Markets are expecting the retail sales data to come in at plus 0.3% for the headline and plus 0.2% for the X auto component. The August data was plus 0.1%, so this is a little bit better. Jobless claims are expected to come in at 260K. That will be slightly above last week's 258K reading. What else do we have? We have industrial production report coming out at 9:15 a.m. At 10 a.m. we get the housing market index, and then at 11 a.m. one day and 30 minutes later than normal, we have the EIA oil stockpiles report due out. Then we got some Fed speak at 11 a.m. We're going to be hearing from Chicago Fed Bank President Austin Goolsbee. He could be, he's a big dub. We'll have to wait and see what he has to say. But yeah, it's going to be a good day for economic data today, Emily.
And with all of that information coming out, I don't know how you'd keep track of it if you didn't have NewsWare. You're using your NewsWare to keep track of all of the economic data, all of those earnings reports, but you even gave us, another type of news, merger news, that news about a possible merger with Expedia and Uber. That's just one example of the types of headlines and information that you follow using your NewsWare. You're also looking at things like guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, and other catalysts this morning. As always, you group your stocks together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just going to do a quick data check to see what I see on that. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 13 higher, 15 lower, and the rest unchanged. That's not great. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. Google's trading slightly lower, but everything else is up. Might not be, the S&Ps are now up 0.5%. So, we'll have to wait and see if they're able to hold these gains. It is a little cautious today, right now. Let's talk about some of the news behind the tape. Like, I don't know if this is kind of on Apple and Google. The FTC announced a new rule, click to cancel. It's the click to cancel rule is basically requiring sellers to make it easy for consumers to cancel their enrollment. They want it to be as easy a process as it is signing up. Um, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you ever tried to, cancel a Facebook account, you can't do it. It's almost impossible. So, this will really, be something that's going to kind of affect some of these social media stocks, that's for sure. Meta, we want to talk Meta for a second. They seem to be laying off employees at Instagram or Reality Labs and WhatsApp divisions. Tesla, this is interesting. The EU warned Elon Musk that Twitter or X may get calculated fines against the platform, including revenue from his other businesses like SpaceX and Neuralink and what was the other one they said? I guess SpaceX and Neuralink. I mean, the fact of the matter is, the Digital Services Act basically says that you cannot allow information to go out there that to be untrue. Now, Musk did an interview with President Trump where there was a lot of claims being made that, we know are untrue. And they're not trying to hold back free speech, but they're saying you can do it, but you have to correct him if he's wrong. If he's wrong, you gotta go out there and say it. And they didn't correct him, obviously, and that's going to lead to fines for X, and it's going to be a pretty big fine. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There's more to come on that. That pending news story. What do we else? We got Boeing, ticker BA, is in the news this morning. Okay, United Arab Emirates, they have an airline, Ethos Air. They're said to be in discussions with Boeing about a possible new order. Still in the early stages, but it's happening. Travelers Group, ticker TRV, they came out and said that they're very confident in their outlook for their business in 2025 and beyond. Travelers Group is up 4.9%, 4.96% after earnings this morning. Wow, that was a good report. To merger news, Expedia, EXPE stocks jumping this morning on news of that acquisition interest by Uber Technologies. EXP shares of EXPE, EXPE, yeah, still up 6.07%. Nice, nice, nice. Equifax, in terms of guidance, they narrowed their full year 2024 EPS view to $7.25 to $7.35. Street estimate had it at $7.36. That's a downtick. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, they see Q4 revenue coming in 26.1 billion to 26.9 billion. Street estimate had it pegged at 24.86. That's a big uptick. Elevance Health, ticker ELV, Edward Larry Victor, they cut their full year 2024 EPS view to like $33. The street estimate had it at 37.26. That's a big downtick for ELV, Edward Larry Victor. In terms of shareholders meetings going on, Unity Software, you as an uncle, they're holding a developers conference today. Could be something there. MDU Resources, ticker Michael David Uncle, MDU. They're holding an investors day today, starting at 10 a.m. Buyback news, Mineral Technologies, ticker MTX, Michael Tom X-Ray. They announced a new 200 million share repurchasing agreement. Catalyst calls, JPM, JP Morgan, they put a catalyst call on First Solar, ticker FSLR, Frank, Sam, Larry, Richard this morning. Interesting. That's what I have for you about news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
Western Alliance Bancorp, ticker WAL, William Apple Larry. Earnings are out after the bell. EPS is at $1.90. Expected move is 6.65%. Looking at yesterday's call volume, 2,847 calls traded versus 470 puts. Wow, that's a big divergence. Call open interest 37,965 versus put open interest 17,374. That's 2 to 1. Nice, nice. Major brokers raising price targets. Good to see. Did a nice beat last quarter. Spot the entry price here. I'm at 92.50. 92.50, is kind of what I'm looking for. The stock's trade much higher than that. Spread is really wide, $82 to 93.95. I think 80, anything under 92.50 would be good. But I'm not willing to budge from there. If I miss the trade, I miss the trade. But um, I do like it going into earnings. I do think that we're going to get some positive action there. So that's my pick of the day. Ticker WAL, William Apalari, Western Alliance Bancorp, Emily.
WAL, it is today at earnings play again today, but specific about that entry price, similar strategy that was used in yesterday's pick of the day. In just a moment, we will check in on that pick of the day. But before we get there, we will first turn to the other hot headlines in our hot off the press segment. So Bill, take it away.
ChargePoint CHPT brings fleet electrification with a 699 commercial vehicle charging. Wyndham Hotels WH signs exclusive development agreement with Nile Hospitality. EU said it believes X approach user verification, ad transparency, and data access for researchers breached its rules. Target, TGT, Tom Gray's Tom. They got some exclusive merchandise deal with Taylor Swift. It could be boosting Target sales and comps for the fourth quarter. Keep an eye on that Taylor Swift sales target. Procter & Gamble releasing tomorrow morning. Expected move is about $5. AXP, American Express, releasing tomorrow morning. Expected move about $13. Schlumberger, ticker SLB, releasing tomorrow morning. Moves only $1.46. Steel Dynamics, benefited from the rebounded domestic steel prices this past quarter. Posted a third quarter profit of $2.05 a share. Yeah, Travelers Group. They reported nearly a threefold jump in third quarter profit this morning. Robinhood's going to be launching its long-awaited desktop platform and added future index and option trading features to its mobile app. Wednesday. Interesting. That's what I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading today, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was KeyCorp. The company did release earnings. They reported a Q3 EPS of 30 cents. Now, there was a wide range of analyst estimates here, so it was anywhere from 2 cents to 15 cents better than the analyst estimates out there, 15 cents to 28 cents. Bill, you were playing this one ahead of earnings yesterday, looking for that specific entry point. How did your call work out?
It was okay, I guess. I mean, listen, the stock opened up at $17.72, and then it ran up to $17.88. I mean, that's 2 cents away from our goal of 1%. 2 cents away. But it couldn't hold, and then it fell off, and the earnings came out, and they were a yawn. They beat, okay, but it wasn't. You're not seeing the big move, and the volatility wasn't really predicting a big move in the stock, and that's kind of what we're seeing. Never hit my entry point of 1740, but it was just okay. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular. It was just it was kind of a yawner that KeyCorp pick yesterday, Emily.
Okay is better than a loss, but we will check in with you tomorrow about Western Alliance Bancorp pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow to end your trading week with NewsWare's Trade Talk, when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.